the one arm, the most Chad alpha, no other form or move can replicate the aura you get when you perform an already difficult move, but with one arm. So in this video, it's not just going to be about me glazing that you should do the one arm, but why the one arm should be the final goal in anything you do calisthenics based. I personally believe the only way to mastery is being able to do something really difficult with ease whenever you want. If you can do something cool and it's only some days or it's only on really good days, then you haven't mastered it. If it's only when the conditions are perfect, then it's like, do you really got it? Or is it just like whenever the day tells you you can do it? Me personally, I want to be able to tip up into a handstand whenever I want, even if I just got off a 12-hour shift to welding, or let's say I'm high or plastered, and then I get pulled over and the cop tells me to do a sobriety test, and then boom, I just do handstand push-ups in front of him just for the sake of aura. That's the level of mastery I want for all of the moves that I want. And there's no real telltale sign of mastery better than doing something hard with one arm. So how the hell do we get to that level, Junior? How do we get to that one arm level to where we dom everything in calisthenics? I'm going to tell you. There's really two ways to get good at getting the one arm workout or getting the one arm exercise, anything, whether it be pull-ups, push-ups, handstands, muscle ups, whatever it is. Whatever you want to get in one arm, you have to obviously be really good at using two arms first. Then, if you're not even good at doing the two arms to where you can do almost literally every variation, by the way, secret tip hidden. If you want to get good at all variations in calisthenics and you don't want to train for them, just train for the one arm. Because the one arm is going to literally skip all the other progressions. You don't need to do close grip, you don't need to do wide, you don't need to do reverse, whatever the hell crazy variation you need to, if you can just train for the variation to do with one arm. Because no matter how hard the two arm variation is, nothing will compare to doing it with one arm equivalent. So me doing pull-ups with like one finger assisted, two finger assisted, whatever freaking pull-up variation I'm gonna do after that is gonna be easy, because I'm actually gonna have two powerful grips that'll help me do whatever it's needed. For the one arm pull-up, for example, let's just say one arm pull-up, your ability to, let me put it in perspective. You're not just producing force with one arm. You literally have to produce the force of two arms on one arm. No, you have to do more than double, because you have to compensate for the sake of lack of stability and control. When I have two hooks on it, it's easy to control myself and not swing. But let's say you have one. Now I have to control it, twisting my arm manually, and then I have to produce double the force. So I'm doing a one-arm lat pull down of 156 pounds and just curling it in while moving through space. That is the strongest you can ever get. So when you train for the one-arm pull-up, one-arm push-up, whatever, you automatically develop the strength and power that skips most other progressions. So if you want to do like some fancy stuff, like let's say like X grip muscle ups, let's say fingertip or clapping pull-ups, all of those will come naturally when you've developed the power to do one-arm pull-ups or one-arm push-ups. There's no like chance that you're not going to. Training for the progressions of the one arm in anything will get you the progressions in every other move in calisthenics, because the one arm is the goalpost. The one arm is the last boss fight, to where if you do this, everything else is freaking cake. So the two ways you can get the one arm in any variation is obviously one, getting good at the two arm variation and trying it out slowly. So fingertip assisted or slowly leaning more weight on one side. Me personally, when I'm doing a pull-up variation, I prefer the mixed grip chin-up because it's so freaking simple. Mixed grip, because I don't really have a clip of me doing it. One hand is facing me, one hand is facing away from me, and I'm focusing more weight and tension on the arm that I'm doing chin-ups on. The goal of this movement is to develop the neurological pathways of, well, not the neurological pathway, I think it's more of a mental thing, Basically, I'm building the habit, the skill of focusing more weight on the one arm while I'm doing it. And the way to avoid imbalances as well is to, whatever amount you're doing on the left arm or the weak arm, that is going to be the same amount you do on the stronger arm. So if you can only do 5 on the left, you're only going to do 5 on the right. When you're doing your one arm pull-ups or mixed grip chin-ups, I always just focus on grabbing the bar as hard as I can on the dominant arm or the arm that I'm training and driving the elbow back, just yanking that thing while the other one is there for support. I am focusing on trying to use either this one more or this one less. When you're doing a one-arm push-ups or one-arm dips or one-arm handstands, the focus goes into the shoulder every single time. So if I'm doing pull-ups, one-arm pull-ups, it's always bringing the shoulder down, the scapula down when I'm doing it. I'm just focusing more on this one. It doesn't even matter what this one is doing, as long as it's helping me less every session, and this one is doing most of the work. For push-ups, it's the scapula. I'm pushing down whenever I'm doing my one-arm push-ups, or I'm doing fingertip push-ups. I'm doing assisted push-ups where I'm going down the ground, and I'm putting all the weight on the working arm. Whenever I'm doing handstand or one-arm handstands, again, the scapula wins every time. Putting the shoulder up to the ear. So I always tell people when I'm training them that I'm putting it up to the ear while doing it, and I'm putting all the weight slowly on one side. Goal reminder: the hand that you're not training should be helping you less and less, and the hand that you're training should be trying to carry more of that burden. When you're doing, let's say for progression wise, whatever per week that makes you have the feeling of a better connection of putting the weight on one arm, that's the one that works for you. So for me, it's fingertip assisted or mixed grip chin-ups. Push-ups, same thing. Really just focus on leaning more on that other arm. It really isn't that complicated. But let's say you don't want to do progressions. There's an even easier way to do it, because in forms of progressions in calisthenics, you always have to develop a certain level of athleticism in order to break past that limit. So you also have to develop dexterity in your fingers. That might take a while. You might have to do progressions just to do that progression. You know, there's a lot of, sometimes some hoops you got to go through. And if you don't want to go through that, my all-time favorite, weighted calisthenics. Unbeaten. It's literally caveman brain. You don't got to think too hard. Basic math. Math is the closest thing we have to the language of God. Boom. Philosophical moment. Write that down. When you're doing weighted pull-ups, you're getting comfortable with more weight on you. Then when you take the weight off, you feel lighter. If you do that enough times, you're going to do it with one arm. It's literally impossible that you don't. If I could do the goal, also number percentage-wise for one-arm pull-ups, I would say is about 90% body weight with one rep, 1 to 3 reps. So different for everybody. Of course, you don't have to. You can do 70%, even 65% if you got the technique down, or you can do 90%. I'm just saying it's a high correlation for people who have strong weighted pull-ups to be able to do one-arm pull-ups with less difficulty. So I do weighted pull-ups, weighted push-ups, even weighted handstand push-ups. When you get super strong at those movements, it is infinitely easier to slowly add more weight on that other arm, because it's now getting used to it. You also have to get used to it. You can't just do, all right, did this one workout where I did fingertips. The next one, all right, did this one workout where I was doing weighted. Next workout, I'm going to try one arm. No. You have to almost marinate in that progression while doing the attempts. So that way, you know for a sure fact, it is mastered. It is whenever you want to. It is even if the conditions aren't the best, you still manage to do the one arm or whatever skill you want to do with one arm. When you're trying to do pull-ups, dips, push-ups, etc., the ability to do it whenever you want, and it is harder. It is the one arm. Being able to do it with ease and finesse, that is true mastery in my opinion. So, recap on the progressions. I like fingertips, I like mixed grip, and I love doing weighted calisthenics because it's so freaking simple. When you get super strong in weighted chin-ups, it's almost impossible that you don't get good at one-arm pull-ups as well. So, I hope that video helps. I'll see you.